There's a picture of my mom and dad. There's a good picture of my mom. I'm dedicating today, seeing it's Mother's Day, to my mom. Now, as you all know, she passed away in 2014. And that is on her stone. Years ago, this was way back in my 30s. Mom called me up one day. I was still down in Beaufort, South Carolina, getting ready to go home on vacation. I believe it was mid-70s. The fire department was shutting down. The old fire department was going to be the Historical Society, and they built the new fire department where Mary Thurston used to be. But Mom told me on the phone that there's a gun that she wants, and she wants me to pick it up for when I come home from the fire department. She didn't say too much over the phone, but I told her that, you know, when I come home we'll talk about it and see what happens. But Mom, I'm against firearms. Even though I'm in the Marine Corps, I'm against having a firearm. Anyways, I went home. My sister lived across the street. Mom and I sat at the kitchen table. And for the first time in my life, when I was growing up and Mom and Dad took us kids down to see Grandma Soper, I was a munchkin. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, probably preschool too. She lived in a trailer park in Horseheads, and I always thought Ray was Mom's dad. Mom never said anything. I remember Mom going in the house and giving Ray a kiss, giving Hazel a kiss. So I just assumed, like everything else. Mom was very personal. She kept things to herself. You know, I believe that she was being like Mary was, you know, the mother of Jesus, where everything that happened in Jesus' life she kept in her heart. Everything that happened in Mom's life, she kept in her heart. Well, when I was in my 30s, and like I said, I was sitting at the kitchen table, Mom told me that she had a story to tell me, and she wanted me to listen to it carefully. And I said, sure. But you know, I still don't like the idea of me getting that gun that you talked about. And she goes, well, let me talk first. And I said, okay. Mom told me the story. She was 7 years old. Uncle Bill was 6. They were outside playing. And they were in the front yard over on Lounsbury Avenue. She gave me the address, but I never looked it up. I didn't really want to know which house it was. But anyways, her and Uncle Bill were out in the front yard playing, and her dad came home. Now her dad was the Heights barber. He cut hair. Cut the mayor's hair, the sheriff's hair, the cop's hair, everybody that wanted their hair cut, they went to my grandfather's, my real grandfather, and got the haircut. Well, he came home when my mom was 7, walked into the house. Apparently, I don't recall right now, but it was somebody of prominent, like the mayor or the sheriff or some bigwig, was, let's just say, making love to my grandmother. And my mother's father saw it. He went into the bedroom, got the pistol, went to the living room, pointed the pistol to his head, and pulled the trigger. My mother stated to me that she heard the shot. She also stated to me that when the ambulance came, they didn't cover the body. She saw her dad being taken out to the ambulance. Well, Mom and I talked about that for about 20 minutes. Mom informed me that Debbie had the article from the newspaper. Well, I told Mom I'm going to go across the street and read the article, and I'll be back with my decision whether or not to get the gun or not. Well, I went over, and Alan answered the door. Debbie was upstairs in the bathroom. And let me back up a little bit. Mom called Debbie. Debbie told Mom she didn't know where the article was. I took it upon myself. Mom, I'm going over to Debbie's. She's got the article. Yeah, that sister of mine has lied to me so many times, it's unreal anyhow, you know. Well, I went across the street and Alan was there, and I told Alan about the conversation that Mom and I just had. And then when Mom called over here, Debbie said that she doesn't know what she did with the article. Alan looked at me and kind of chuckled and says, "Oh, it's upstairs on the dresser. I'll see you in the kitchen." So I went out to the kitchen, poured myself a cup of coffee. Alan came down from upstairs bedroom and gave me the article. And I started reading it. The article went into detail, named names, and there was quite a few names that, let's just say, took advantage of my grandmother. And there was quite a few people in prominent positions that also took advantage of my grandmother, according to that article. I'm reading that article, and I almost got done to the last sentence when Debbie came into the room. And Debbie went ballistic. I just walked out the back door. I didn't say thank you, didn't say... Like I stated before, anytime I even think that there's going to be an argument or an uproaring or any kind of dramatization garbage, I leave. I'm not going to have that in my life. Never have, never will. I won't. I won't. Dad made sure that I was raised right. Because if I smell trouble, doesn't even have to surface, I'll walk away. Even people around here, the ones that know they're allowed in my room, come in here. The rest of them will stay outside, because I don't even want them in here, because they disgust me so. But that's me. That's how it is. Well, anyways, I went back over to the house, and I told Mom about Debbie going ballistic. And, Mom, I'm not going to do it. No. You're going to look at that gun and you're going to... No. Let them destroy it. Let them do whatever they do with the guns that destroy it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if my brothers got the gun. No idea. Could care less. But that's how Mom was. She kept things inside. I didn't know. I thought Ray was my grandfather. I didn't know. Not until then. I didn't know the truth about my grandmother. Not until then. But Mom kept everything inside. In a way, I wish I could. I wish I could treat my enemies as I do my friends. I wish I could look at everybody exactly the same. I remember when Mom got a job. She was Esther Ladd's assistant. I remember growing up, Mom and Dad would go down to, I can't think of Esther Ladd's husband's name, but he used to work at the fire department. Lawrence Ladd. Lawrence Ladd was the driver at the fire department. I liked Lawrence a lot. And I knew that Esther worked at the fire department, mayor's secretary. Mom got a job. And this is after I left the house. I was in the Marine Corps, and I came home, and I used to walk Mom to work. It was over there to the old fire station. Well, Esther Ladd retired. And I wasn't home when, the old cliche, when the shit hits the fan. I wasn't there for that. But apparently Esther Ladd did not want Mom to get that job. And Esther Ladd badmouthed Mom. Now you got to remember that Esther Ladd also was a prominent member of our church. I had respect for Esther Ladd. I had respect for Lawrence. You know, I used to visit Lawrence and Esther because they lived right across the street from what used to be the old dump. That's now a baseball field. But Esther Ladd chastised Mom. Tried her best not to get Mom hired. But Mom got hired. And it really put a thorn in Esther Ladd's side when Mom got hired. Because Mom and I talked about that. One day when I was walking Mom back to work, she comes home for lunch, and I was walking her back to work. She told me the story about Esther Ladd. You know, it shocked me. It really shocked me. But that's how my mom was. Mom treated Esther Ladd just like she did me. And I believe that she treated my brothers the same as me. I believe she treated Debbie the same as me. And I believe that she treated Dad a little bit better because of the husband. But that was Mom. The time that Mom and Dad came down to get my teeth taken care of, and they went back home again, Dad ended up going to the doctors and found out he had cataracts in both eyes and he only had 30% vision. Mom and I talked on the phone, and Mom made the statement she wished she could be mad at Dad. Why is that? He had cataracts. He only had 30% of his vision. And I rode in the car with him. He couldn't see 20 feet in front of the car. And we're doing 65 miles an hour going down to see you. It shocked me. But that's how Mom was. I don't think Mom chastised Dad at all. You know, I can remember when Dad was teaching Mom how to drive the car. Mom used to come into the house crying because Dad was yelling at her because of the stick shift. We had a 62 Ford. That's how Mom learned how to drive. 62 Ford, it was standard. And you got to use the clutch with the gas pedal and shifting. And I went out a couple times with Dad, and I couldn't take it. After about the third time, I refused to be in the car with my dad, with me driving. I refused to, because of the black and blue marks on me afterwards. Because he just hauled off and belt. Every time that I goofed up, he'd just haul off and belt me. And I'd end up with black and blue marks on my leg or on my side of my face. Mom taught me how to drive. Because Mom and I talked. Mom seen the bruises. And I told Mom, no. There's got to be a better way for me to learn how to drive. Well, I drove. Mom said that I only went out with Mom once. And the very next day, Mom takes me down to take the driver's test. Mom didn't go with us when I took the driver's test. I remember at the driver's test we came to a stoplight, and I looked at the person giving me the test. He didn't tell me which way to turn. And the man looked at me and said, "Can't you read?" There's a big sign straight ahead, no left turn. There was a one-way street. There was a big sign, no left. I turned on the right blinker and made a right. Then we did a couple lefts. Then we went back to the DMV. He had me parallel parked. I parallel parked. He gets out of the car. I get out of the car. He looked at the tires with the curb, both front and back. And then he looked at me, and he popped up and goes, "Think you passed?" And I just started shaking my head no. And he looked at my mom, and he goes, "You're in trouble. He passed. Take this inside." And gave my mom the passing thing for my driver's license. And he walked away. And Mom looked at me, and Mom just popped up and went, "What was that all about?" "Oh, Mom, we went down, you know where Water Street is? At that one light? Yeah. I asked him which way he wanted me to turn. Mom started laughing. And she said, "You're not alone. A lot of people ask the same question at that one thing." Apparently, now Mom didn't admit it to me, but I think Mom did the same thing. Now she never said anything, but just her reaction to what I said, I think my mom did the same thing. Yeah. And she still passed her driver's test. Anyway, I already went into the story concerning Mom calling me up with the phone call. But what was so nice being with Mom those last 6 days, I dedicated, I'm not going to say every breathing minute, being with Mom. I'd be lying to you if I did. Because yes, I would go outside and have a cigarette. Once in the morning and once in the afternoon. That Saturday that I ended up chastising my sister, I was gone for a couple hours because I had to cool off. I had to, it took me a while to put stuff in perspective, especially with what she said about the wrong person laying here. That just took me a couple hours to put it in perspective. But what was nice was the devotions. I will always remember the devotions. I was reading, at that time I was reading John. And John was Mom's favorite book. And I believe that she heard every word I said when we talked. Because we talked all the time. Except when I went out for coffee or went out to get something to eat or taking a shower, because I did take a shower every day, even though I put on the same dirty clothes. But I know Mom, she's still alive in me. She's still alive in my heart. And with today's being Mother's Day, I miss her. But I also know where she is. And she's with Chuck. The last conversation we had was at church, with Chuck on one side and Mom on my right side. And Mom told me I had to be careful on that motorcycle. And that's when Chuck popped up and said, "Yeah, I can speak for Gene. You don't have to worry about him being careful." You know, it's that that's keeping me going. Knowing someday I'm going to see both of them. And I believe Hazel's up there with her also. But I'm going to be curious for the rest of my life. I believe my mother still loved her mother. But I also realized this. I believe Mom found out about my grandmother before she turned to be a teenager. And she vowed that she would never be like her mother. Because I vowed the same thing. that I would never be like my dad dealing with my children. I believe I was very close to my children. Corey and Chris, during the times that I was home, I dedicated myself to their world. Pam wanted Corey to repeat the 6th grade and not pass into high school. I lost it. I went to the school and wanted them to explain to me why this 6th grader grades are in the 80s and he's got to repeat that grade, and you got these other kids low 70s that's passing, but my son is in the 80s and he's flunking the grade? No. They passed him. When Corey told me that he was going to quit soccer, I went to the school. I did find out later, talking to Sean after the divorce, that Sean did tell Corey that I went to school on his behalf. But I was there for Corey before that. Corey ended up doing 88 sit-ups on the road, not on the dirt, on concrete. Knotted up his back. And I got all over the gym teacher for that. I don't think Corey ever realized that. But I never once argued with my children, because I did not want to be like my dad. Just like my mom vowed she's not going to be like her mother. And that's one thing that I am so grateful for. I'm grateful that I had a mother like I did. One that would put out so much and keep her mouth shut and not take credit for anything. I wish I could be like that. I am in most ways, but not all, not as much as she was. So Mom, this one's dedicated specifically for you. And this goes for the rest of the mothers out there. Do things for your children and keep it in your heart. It'll be better all the way around. I'm going to close now. It's been about a half hour. May God bless. I'm going to shut this off 29 minutes. But have a very, very happy